science that involves understanding.
He's describing what is economics.
Understanding of the processes that govern production, consumption, distribution, and relations in an economy. So when I think about permonomics, what I'm looking at is permonomics being looking at, first of all, a much greater expanded economy. An economy that includes 5 capitals. So on the screen here we see 5 capitals. We see natural capital, which encompasses everything. Within natural capital we have the human capital, and human capital can be broken down into 2 subcapitals: intellectual capital and experiential capital. We have social capital. Social capital can be broken down in 3 subcategories. It can be broken down into cultural capital, social capital, and spiritual capital. And in the very center, we have the financial capital and the manufacturer or the material capital. Now what's really interesting, and Charles alluded to this morning when he talked about blurring the lines, when you start looking at the bigger picture and you start looking at the currencies that flow through these capitals, you begin to realize that there's a whole host of different currencies. We may use money in the financial capital section. We may use natural resources in the manufactured capital, and when I say the resources, we'll use natural resources to make tools, to make buildings, to make manufactured capital. But as we look through the different currencies, we'll see that in the natural capital, the biggest picture, we have the natural elements. We have carbon, nitrogen, water, which are flowing through plants, people. They're the things that are making and powering everything else around us. They're what's giving us our ecosystem functions. They're what giving us biodiversity. If we look to human capital, we've got, let's focus on intellectual capital. Intellectual capital is the words, the images, the data. It is the currency of that is ideas and knowledge. And it's something that Ethan Rowland spoke to last year at the Living the New Economy, is the importance of having to value ideas and knowledge, not just in a monetary sense, but in a more guttural sense, having value for that. We have experiential capital. Experiential capital, the currency of experiential capital is action. And by action, what it lends to and leads to is skills. And that has been one of my main focuses that Nicole spoke to. On the social side of things, we have social, cultural, and spiritual. I'm going to start with cultural, because cultural encompasses large groups and encompasses relations between groups. The currency of exchange that occurs within social or within cultural capital is going to be the stories, the rituals, and the laws that are used. And Ian McKenzie, you are a purveyor of that to the nth degree. If we move to social capital, that is the relationships between individuals. And that is what allows for influence. That's what allows for close relationships. That's what allows for communities to begin to build. And then we move to spiritual capital. And spiritual capital is the relationship with oneself to one's state of being or existence. And the currency that is used in the spiritual capital is intention, faith, karma, prayer. Put your words to it. Next slide, please. Oh, there we go. So when we're thinking about permonomics, it is basically being able to apply permaculture principles, those 12 permaculture principles, to the broad category of the 5 or 8 capitals, whatever you want to call it, that you saw on that prior slide, and to how to navigate the currencies of exchange that flow through them.